Welcome back. Who's jangling money? It can't be Brett because he's fucking skint. He's got no money. Everything he buys like it costs $1.
Actually today I sold alcohol I bought in Germany. So
What the fuck?
yeah, for a profit. I'm a bootlegger.
Alcohol bootlegger.
I went to Bremen, right? To Germany, Bremen.
Yeah.
And on the way back, I wanted to bring so much alcohol, but like you can only buy it at the duty-free store. But I had such a huge bag; it was too heavy. Like I said, it was like 10 liters. So I wanted to put it in my backpack.
Yeah.
I had to put on like double clothes because otherwise it didn't fit in my backpack. So I was sitting there in the plane with like double jeans on, double t-shirt, double socks, just so that I have enough space to put all the alcohol in my backpack.
Sacrifices you have to make.
Yeah, but it's good because I sold 4 bottles out of like the 10, and I'm break even now.
Abyssal lair of the Radiophonic Sea Creatures. Pour some words out of your cunt mouth so I can eat every fucking chicken in the room because I, Tokyo Choo Choo, am going to be your host today. And with me as always are 2 men who love fucking chickens, which is actually pretty foul when you think about it. Boom, tsh. It's Human Metal and Brack. How are you today, Human Metal?
Clever. Very clever. I'm impressed. I'm fine. I'm okay. And also, I'd like to apologize to our listeners for my semi-absence for the past 2 episodes. As Chuchu already mentioned, I had to take care of one of my parents' sick dog. And despite what these 2 jokers here made it sound like, it was actually pretty serious. She was really close to dying and had to be under constant surveillance for a while.
As Human Metal does have to be with Peter.
Yeah, again, exactly. So my mom asked me to help out so that she could keep most of her work appointments. So yeah, but yeah, both dogs are, part of the family anyway, and family always comes first. So I said to myself, fuck those assholes.
Fuck those. You said to yourself, you got 2 dogs in the family, and he said to himself, fuck those assholes. Come on, Human Metal.
Keep it down, man. And and so I decided to take 1.5 episodes off, but hell, maybe most of our listeners were glad that happened anyway, so what do I know? Anyway, dog is out of the woods now, everything is back to normal, so let's not dwell on the past and instead discuss the bright present, which, as it turns out, wears red horns. Brack, can you tell us what's up with that?
You mean the worst superhero of all time? The superhero who is blind with the superpower to see? You mean that superhero?
Yeah.
Ben
Affleck.
Superhero. I know the answer. It's Ben Affleck.
Yes, it's Ben Affleck. No, it's not Ben Affleck. It's Daredevil.
Daredevil, new Netflix show, just has been released past week.
Last weekend. I already finished it.
Yeah, but it's Netflix. They're releasing their most of their shows like immediately, all episodes, so you can binge watch them, which is a pretty cool thing actually, if you have access to it. And I got through all of the series as well, the first season anyway. It's probably gonna get a few more since it's super successful. At least that's what everyone's been saying. So there you go.
I hope so, because I heard it's expensive as hell.
Yeah, it looks expensive.
It's like 80 million for the entire series.
Yeah, it's the most serious / dark project Marvel Studios has put out so far, and in camera work and everything and character writing, it's pretty much on the opposite side of stuff like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agent Carter, and it feels much more gritty than even Arrow because it lacks almost all of the soap opera stuff.
Yeah, it's way more violent. Don't forget that.
But that works very well for that character, like, this dark, gritty stuff. You don't have to put that in every movie like DC is trying to do apparently now with Superman. For some characters it works, like Batman and Daredevil, just because of their origin and everything, but it, not for everyone. But yeah, it works for this character. So, it's a great show, actually. I had a lot of fun with it. How about you?
I really liked it. I think the performances are really good. I was so surprised by the actor playing Kingpin in it. Especially because in the Marvel universe so far, like the Marvel movies, the bad guys are pretty underdeveloped so far, I think. Like, only Loki.
Yeah, Loki is the only interesting one.
and even Loki, I can't really take him that serious anymore, like, these days, I think, in, like, the most recent movies. And I'm not sure he's such a comic relief, but...
most of the characters are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Like, everyone is cracking jokes and making fun, which is cool. It makes for, an entertaining ride. But, already stated, Daredevil is like, there are some jokes here and there, and there's a comic relief in Foggy Nelson. But, most of the stuff dealt with here is, kind of quiet and serious. And yeah, especially, Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk is a great casting choice. And he's a menacing, imposing, impressive, presence on screen.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
Much every time he's on screen, it's like, woof.
Yeah. He's also, like, even his physicality, it's kind of insane. Yeah. There's like one scene later in the show where he's with like an older woman in like a car. I can't spoil it, but like you see like that contrast, the comparison, like how huge he is. That guy is super big. Yeah, and it's like that. He's like a super tall, like big guy. So he really feels imposing, even though, like, if you compare it to like the Daredevil, who is like pretty muscular, in shape guy, and this just Kingpin, of course, is not. But you believe that he is like a force to be reckoned with, even if it's just like a fight, like a street fight between the two of them.
Yeah, pretty much. And incidentally, the story of the developing relationship between him and his wife to be delivers a lot of the show's strongest scenes, I think. Mm-hmm. That's what I felt. I really liked that relationship, and the way it was portrayed was interesting, because that's not something you get out of villains usually. Like,
no, because there's not enough time.
Yeah, exactly. There's not enough time, and usually they dispose of their pseudo loved ones, for personal gain or something. And this had a really strong relationship between him and Vanessa, because it's like, those two, like, they love each other, they really do. And he cares for her, and it's really important, and that makes him a really interesting and faceted villain. And I liked it a lot. Though he sometimes overdoes it with the voice he chose to convey his constant state of pent up, barely controllable rage. It just gets a bit too much sometimes. He looks it sounds like he's suffering from constipation or something.
He's like trembling almost when he's talking sometimes.
Like barking it out. It's kind of It's a little bit too much sometimes. Maybe you should rein it in, but it's not on the levels of ridiculousness compared to Christian Bale's Batman or Tom Hardy's Bane. Like it's still in there.
It's in the same level actually, but still, I think
it depends.
Equally believable.
It didn't grate on me so much. There were just a few scenes where it was like chuckling a bit, and it's like, come on, man, tone it down a notch. You can talk normally to your wife. It's all right. You don't have to be angry all the time. You're not the fucking Hulk. So anyway,
Alfred, we're out of toilet paper in the loo.
Pretty much. Another side note, the season finale was good, but not great. The ending just felt a bit too rushed and somewhat anticlimactic in my opinion.
And I don't like the suit. I don't really like
exactly. The suit doesn't look. The suit itself is okay. It's Batman, body armor-ish, but the mask looks a bit weird. It's like, why did you? Of all people, Daredevil, who's a blind guy, why did you leave the eyes out? Like, why did you make the eyes visible? Why? In that regard, the Ben Affleck costume was better, even.
Actually, but it makes sense. Because he's blind. He doesn't know that it looks stupid. Right? He's a blind guy. He doesn't know. You can't blame him.
And the guy who made it for him is retarded, so he wouldn't know either.
I made it for him is like super stupid, so it makes sense.
So whatever. No, that's cruel. That's a really mean joke, but whatever.
But also, if you like don't like some of the scenes. If you describe them out of the context of the show, it's really silly. Like actually, when Kingpin and Daredevil are fighting, it's like an obese man fighting a blind guy. It's like, oh, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah,
if you look at it like that.
Yeah,
but they make it believable, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, they do. And that fight, I really liked. That was, I guess, the thing I liked most about the final episode, or the only thing I really liked was the final fight, because it's a powerful, it's strong, it's get some nice beatdowns, it's a good stuff. Like, yeah.
Not the best fight, because the best fight actually happens pretty early on in the show, in my opinion.
It does.
Episode 2, and if you see it, you notice it, because it's like a 4-minute long one take. Yeah. And it's pretty amazing. It's the best fight scene I've ever seen on any like television show, actually.
Yeah, pretty much. It's incredibly well shot and choreographed, and just realistic and brutal. It's it leaves an impression. It's good stuff. It's very old boyish, if you want to compare to something.
Old boy, and like definitely also influences from the Raid are in there. Not maybe not overall the fight scenes, and it just works really well. And you can see like he's getting really exhausted during the fight. Like,
yeah, it makes sense.
That guy is like he is super tired, which you don't see in like a lot of other movies. But
they can just keep up punching. No, but he gets actually tired because he has to fight a lot of guys, and it's cool. It feels like it's real. It's good stuff.
And like after every like moment where he has fights, that dude is beat up. Like you see him like every time next episode, and he looks like shit. He has cuts all over his bodies. Like his eyes just look fucked up because he's like punched in the face so much. Like he looks like it is not like some other movies where after a fight and the next day he looks just fresh, like he looks a little bit tired. This guy, he looks like he's beat to shit, so that keeps it like a lot more realistic.
He's always pretty, fucked up after it. Like,
he's not the Superman or something. Like
nope, he's not. He's definitely not. He looks even worse, like than in Batman Begins, where Christian Bale is, after Alfred notices his bruises, he's like lightly bruised. And some part, no. Matt Murdock, like, he looks like shit.
Yeah.
He looks like shit. He looks like he's been through hell several times in the show. And that's good stuff. And, love the show. Looking forward to season 2 and the rest of the, Netflix, Marvel stuff.
Other shows. There were some, I'm really looking forward to the other shows. Like, I think that, if this is what I got, the next few shows are going to be great. Especially like, I'm looking forward to Iron Fist, because that's also like a kung fu type show. They actually put some characters in there already for Iron Fist. Like there are some subplots. Like the Madame Gao, if you remember that character.
Oh yeah, okay.
She is from Iron Fist actually, like the comic book. So
they're already doing crossovers. That's cool.
Yeah, there's already a crossover going on in there, and actually the company like from who like the tanker was that fell over and blinded Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
Company name is actually the company owned by the character in Iron Fist, like his father.
Okay.
So, like there's already
robotics, I think.
There's already like stuff going on, like a little bit like Easter eggs and some actual characters who got to show up in other shows.
And we get an eventual crossover series anyway in the Defenders. But highly recommended show. Watch it if you have Netflix. If you don't, just get it somewhere else. It's good stuff. If you are a comic book fan, if you're a fan of Daredevil anyway, and there are some surprises in there for dedicated fans of the source material. Watch it if you just want to watch good TV and are in for a bit of a darker comic book story. Yep, get to it. So, Record, what else do you have?
So I had something unique happen last week, because I watched 2 movies in a row which had Mark Strong in it. And in none of the movies, he played a bad guy.
No,
something that never happens.
That's not possible.
That's not possible, I know. It's like watching like 2 Sean Bean movies, and he survives both movies. That's not something that's like seeing a unicorn. It's like pretty special. The first movie is The Imitation Game, and I think all of you already know about it, about Alan Turing, but that's a good movie, and I think it's like worth all the Oscar buzz it got. I'm not going to talk about it that much, because I think most people already know about it, but it's a good movie, and if you have the time, go watch it. But the other movie is Kingsman, The Secret Service. And Kingsman, The Secret Service is like, the best way to describe it, it's like
James Bond Jr.
It's like actually X-Men meets James Bond, because they go to like in the middle of nowhere to get trained, or maybe like Harry Potter meets James Bond, because they go to like James Bond school almost, where they get trained to be James Bond, super James Bond, because this is more like Roger Moore James Bond, because it's so over the top and insane with all kinds of gadgets, and also the movie is hilarious. Like Samuel Jackson is the bad guy in there. And it's like one of the funniest Samuel Jackson performances you will ever see, because he plays totally against character actually, because he's not a badass. He's really, it's like he can't stand blood. If he sees blood, he pukes like immediately. Like he's kind of a wuss. So it works really well. And he has like this lisp when he's talking, and it's pretty funny. And like all the actors in it are great, and the fight scenes in that movie are really well done. They're really creative, and they're well shot, and extremely violent. Like, I had no idea that the movie was going to be that violent, but it was really like,
yeah, I saw a making of and was like, holy shit, what is going on here? And I don't want to confuse it. Is it by the same guy who's written the comic book Kingsman, or is it by the same guy who directed Kick-Ass?
Both.
Both. Okay.
It's like based on the book by Mark Miller, who like also wrote Kick-Ass, but it's also by the director that did the first Kick-Ass. Yeah. He also did X-Men and Layer Cake, which is also a really good movie. Really good director. His movies are always like super entertaining.
Yeah.
He really knows how to keep the pace up and stuff like that. It's great. One of the highlights for the movie was in every James Bond movie, the bad guy has to have like a special henchman, right?
Yeah.
And in this one, it's like this woman who has no legs but has like those blades, like the Blade Runner. You know what I mean? Like
rollerblades or what?
No.
Oh, shit. No, like
you
kind
mean
of like spring things? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
But here actually also blades. So she actually goes running around and kicking people's feet off, heads off, and stuff like that. So she actually has blades on her feet.
Wow.
And
nice.
it's super fun to see all those action scenes with her. It's hilarious. It's original because you don't expect it to happen. And it's like, you see just like, she's fighting people and limbs are flying all over the place. And it's amazing. It's really a lot of fun.
Shit, that sounds really entertaining.
It's like one of the most entertaining movies I've seen this year. I think it's even actually more entertaining than the next movie I'm going to talk about, which is Furious 7. And the best way to describe Furious 7, I think it's like a bit like the Avengers, but instead of superheroes, it has like roided out bald people in expensive cars. So I think Choo Choo is going to like join them. He's going to bulk up a little bit because like when you want to join the Avengers, you have to be bald. When you want to join like the Fast and Furious crew, you have to be bald because none of those people have hair. So, except for Paul Walker, and even his hair is like really trimmed in this movie.
Well, he probably doesn't have any hair anymore.
No, he doesn't.
Although they say hair keeps growing, so maybe he's got really long hair now.
But the movie is a lot of fun, especially like highlights is like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. He is not in it that much, but he's great in it. And also some of the new characters, especially like Kurt Russell, is really fun. And I think that's a character you're going to see in like the next few movies as well. And of course, there's Jason Statham, who is super like insane and over the top. And he's like the best bad guy you have seen so far in like a Fast and Furious movie. And he kicks a lot of ass, so that's great. But I think the highlight for me was still like The Rock, because he is just hilarious in this movie, and he's like has the best action scenes and the most insane over-the-top one-liners, so it's perfect.
Fantastic. I want to see Furious 7 anyway, so...
Oh, yeah. One thing, the ending is actually really emotional. Because
what?
I'm not fucking with you. I'm not fucking with you. I was with a few people where they were like, yeah, I had to hold back my tears because it was actually emotional, because they had like a really... kind of corny but beautiful setup for like Paul Walker in the end. And like they even used like car metaphors and they visualized like saying goodbye. They visualized that with like cars in a way, and it's kind of incredible because it's so...
How does this work? What the fuck?
Yes, it's so corny, but it works so well. So it's like it's pretty perfect.
I'm looking forward to that one as well. Like,
I'm looking forward to it too. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Fast and the Furious, but I guess we will get into that very shortly, I suppose. So let's not jump the gun. But would you say, Brack, that the seventh one is the best one? Do you think it's taken the crown?
No, I don't think so. Actually, I think I still like both 5 and 6 a little more than 7, but it's definitely like in the top 3.
All right, so the choo-choo is now going to unleash the torrent upon you like I have been doing so much this week. So here we go. It's going to be 20 minutes longer for the Shallows. This is going to be a mega bump. No, I'm joking. I ain't done shit. So, and with that, let's move out of the Shallows and into the depths. Welcome back to the Depths. So today on the Depths, we're actually going to be talking about the Fast and the Furious, or Fast and Furious, or I don't know what the fuck it's called, but yeah,
Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
Furious Fast.
So we're going to be talking about the Fast and the Furious movies. Basically, we're kind of going to go like retrospective style. I'm going to go through all of the movies in the franchise, not the 7th one because only Brack has seen that, and he talked about that a little bit during the Shallows. So. Yeah, here we go. Straight in to the first film, The Fast and the Furious, the first one. So, who's going to go first? Stick a hand up. Who's going to go first and tell us about the first Fast and the Furious film?
I guess I can. Wait, you want to go? Go.
Okay, I can go. I really liked it, the first Fast and Furious movie, especially with like Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze when like Keanu Reeves is on the cover, and then robbing the banks. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, that's Point Break. I'm sorry. I'm talking about Point Break.
Son of a bitch stole my joke. You stole my fucking joke.
Exactly the same movie as Fast and Furious.
Shouldn't make such predictable jokes then.
Yeah. Oh, I was about to say, like, my favorite scene in The Fast and the Furious is the scene where Gary Busey comes running onto the airplane tarmac and gets shot. Like...
I just hope that in like the next Fast and Furious, they just put Gary Busey in there as well. Why not? Right?
Hey man, and they're remaking Point Break, so that might as well steal from one of the Fast and the Furious movies. So
just make it a crossover. I would like that.
Yeah! Holy shit! But we get to that in one of our questions.
I want to see the surfing stunt in the remake of Point Break where literally he like surfs over and like manages to flip a tank by landing his surfboard on like the nozzle of the gun.
Yes. Or actually, I would like to see Vin Diesel like, oh shit, there's no more road, so he just uses his like his Mustang to surf like over the water.
Yeah.
Like he's some like a redneck Jesus Christ, like he just rides over the water in his Mustang.
Obvious parallels with like Point Break aside, and there are many parallels because like I think everybody feels like the Fast and the Furious is basically like Point Break for a different generation, totally, like 100%. But yeah, what do you guys think about the film? Like, what's your opinion?
Compared to the later ones, it's pretty grounded still. Like the stunts are not that crazy, and it's not that super fast. Like it's called Fast and Furious, but it's if you watch it today, it's like the camera work has definitely improved, and the stunts also like they gotten way crazier later on, but yeah, it's still a solid action movie, and I think it's like okay, we got basically an origin story here, and for most of the characters, and it's interesting stuff. It's Vin Diesel and Paul Walker have good chemistry, and it's still an entertaining ride, so to speak, and I guess I would still recommend it if you're in for a light movie.
It's still just such a fun movie to me. I think like the pacing of the movie is really good, and like I think that the bonding between Paul Walker and Vin Diesel actually works really well. Yeah. It's actually really like such a fun movie, and everything, the action and the car scenes are kind of dated now, I think. Especially like the cars are pretty old. Like it doesn't feel like they always go for like the newest and freshest car. And like all the ways those cars are painted now look so ridiculous. Like it looks like when you have give like a 5-year-old kid like Need for Speed Underground, and he's pimping in his own car. Like that's how all those cars in that movie looks. It's ridiculous, but it's such a fun movie, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I personally really loved the first the Fast and the Furious movie. I think it's extremely light, it's extremely colourful, and like a bright film. It's very simple, and it's got good chemistry between all of the characters, and yeah, that movie's just a shit ton of fun. Like I think they set up that series excellently. Of course, I don't think anybody had any fucking idea at the time that it was going to become what it is now, but
how many billion did Furious 7 make at the box office? No, it was really super successful. Like it had the strongest weekend for a movie ever or something. at least for that weekend.
Amazing. I really loved the first movie. Like seriously, I think it's one of the superior films. Like I think for me, I would put the first movie second place. Behind the sixth one, like for me personally.
Really?
I put it in fourth place for me.
I would put it in third, but then again, I've only seen 4 of the movies, so there you go.
But yeah, I think like the Fast and the Furious is one of those films also that stands up to repeat watching as well, because it's just such a solid film. Like there's nothing wrong with that film at all. Like I love it, and the end crash, like with Vin Diesel, they do that like the last quarter mile or whatever, and they have that stunt with the train, and then that truck pulls out and crashes Vin Diesel's car. I always think that's an absolute like amazing stunt, and just like the perfect end to that film. So
yeah, and actually, Fast and the Furious, like the first one, it started what all the Fast and Furious movies are going to be about. It's about 3 things. It's about fast cars, hot women, and grown men trying to look really tough while talking about their feelings. That's a really important part about Fast and Furious that some people seem to forget, because that happens in every single movie, and I always love it. It's like so ridiculous. I think the 5 has the best part of the 6. That's the best part about that. But
we're getting to that.
We're getting there. We're there. I'm going to mention it again.
Oh yeah, I got something. I got the hilarious scene in 6. Yeah, fucking hell. So I guess if no one has anything else to say more about the excellent first film, should we move on to the second one? So yeah,
yes.
Let's just jump straight into Too Fast, Too Furious. So, Brack.
That's such a stupid name.
Yeah, it is.
That's the funniest thing about the movie, how stupid the name is.
Yeah.
What do you think about the second one, Brack? I know you got an opinion on it.
I think it's the worst one in the franchise. That's definitely the worst one. But it's actually still fun because of how stupid it is. And somebody once told me that it's like, after Top Gun, it's the most unintentional gay movie out there, especially because if you watch the movie with the idea that like Paul Walker's character and Tyrese Gibson's character used to be in a relationship, the movie makes way more sense. Because Tyrese gets angry at Paul Walker all the time because he tries to romance like Eva Mendes' character, and there's even a scene. If you know what I'm talking about, there's the scene where he like stares at Eva Mendes and he drives really fast, right? You remember that scene?
No, but carry on.
He's staring at Eva Mendes and he's driving really fast without looking at the road for like 2 minutes. And like, that's like romantic stuff. And there's like Tyrese like comes up and, oh, he did the staring and driving thing. He learned that from me. Like, how did he learn that? When did you teach that to him? Like, so that movie is kind of like super hilarious if you watch it like that. But if you watch it like a normal movie, it's the worst one. The action scenes are not as good. Like Vin Diesel is not there. Tyrese is definitely later, like after 5 or 6 and stuff, he actually finds his place, I think, in the franchise. But in the second one, he's not the leading man. He works way better as like the comic relief side character. And also it has Ludacris as a hacker, which is kind of hilarious in its own right.
Which is ludicrous.
Which is ludicrous.
Yeah, but I totally I miss out on Too Fast and Furious and the next one as well.
Which are the 2 worst ones, though?
So I guess I did it right. Anyway, yeah, but I dropped off after the first one. I don't even know why. I didn't watch them, and when I got into the franchise, I forgot. I haven't gone back and watched those two. So I don't know anything about them, but I might do that. Like that stuff you just talked about sounds hilarious. So
yeah, I'm a bit like you, Human Metal. After the first one, I thought the first one was a fucking great movie, but then the second one came out, and I wasn't invested in the franchise at that point so much. I mean, I thought the first one was excellent, but the reputation sort of preceded the second one. I mean, it came with such a huge buzz of like, this is terrible, this is dire. Like, they really, jumped the shark here. So that's type of thing. So I didn't watch it, and until I think last year maybe? I think, yeah, I watched Euromission, as it's called out here, or Fast and the Furious 6, and the new one's called Sky Mission. Yeah, it's called Sky Mission in Japan. So anyway, and the series out here is called Wild Speed, by the way. Yeah. I shall detail you with the titles of it.
Are there Wild Speed games in Japan?
It's like what? So anyway, Wild Speed 2. I avoided it, but basically after I watched the sixth one, I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and watch, the first one, and then I somehow got into binge watching the entire fucking franchise, pretty much back to back. So, and the second one, I agree with Mark. It is probably the worst in the series, but I also think it has some basic fun to it too. I mean, it's not awful. I mean, it is awful, but it's
still pretty entertaining.
Yeah. It's like, it's a bad film, but it's an entertaining bad film, at least. It's not like Alien versus Predator 2 or something. It's not like, oh my god, this is so horrific that it's just, because it has this kind of tongue-in-cheek cheesiness that runs through it that kind of makes it kind of pleasurable. Also, they didn't have, I think they didn't have Vin Diesel, so they want to fool people or somehow dredge up memories of Vin Diesel. So what better way than to make Cole Horser the bad guy? Just to remind you of Vin Diesel from Pitch Black, yeah. So I guess that pretty much wraps up Fast and the Furious Part 1 and Part 2. So we're going to come on to a Radiophonic Sea Creatures question. And this is actually not so crazy. Hey guys, we're talking about the Fast and the Furious, and very obviously very central to the idea is cars. So what are your guys dream cars? So if you can have fucking any car from any time, or even we'll go fantasy style, if you can have a car from a movie or something like that, what car would you have? So, Human Metal.
I kind of want the Ruiner from GTA because I want that to be my nickname.
That is an extremely fucking funny car name. Yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's like, man, yeah, that works. And I always ruin things, so that's a perfect car for me. And aside from that, man, there's so many fucking awesome concept cars that you see in auto shows that never make it to the, actual street because they're too expensive or too advanced, don't use up enough fuel or something like that. It's like, man, those cars should be on the street. They look fucking amazing, and they got all this this cool tech in there that never makes it because it's just too expensive stuff and too you wouldn't be able to afford it or mass produce it. So yeah, some of those things, because every time I just stumble upon them on websites, I'm like, man, this looks fucking awesome. I wanna see that. I wanna drive that, and yeah, it just never happens. It's like, yeah, definitely give me one of those hot new concept cars. Yeah.
Such a boring answer.
Sorry.
Boring as mine.
I will take the car from the James Bond car that goes invisible. I don't know which movie it was again.
Die Another Day.
Die Another Day,
yes.
Pretty shitty movie, but
hey, it's super entertaining. I love Die Another Day. I'm sorry.
Who doesn't want a car that goes invisible, right? It's amazing.
But what
also,
it's like that's like a fucking that is a magnet for traffic accidents, though. A car that can go invisible.
Actually it is.
You ding my car,
which happens in the movie.
See it.
Which happens in the movie. A guy drives into it with his motor sled because he doesn't see it, and that's how this James Bond gets discovered by the enemies. It's like, you fucked up.
Oh shit, I fucked up. I should have chosen Optimus Prime.
Like, how would you get the insurance? Like, I'm driving an invisible car. It's invisible.
Nobody would insure you. Nobody.
What if I put it invisible and I can't find it anymore? That's a possibility. You know?
Imagine you have to press the fucking the clicker every time to open and close the door so the light gets on or something. Yeah, shit like that.
You go to like the bar and you got a little bit too drunk last night, so you took a cab home, but now you're gonna go there to grab your car. Like, shit, I have no idea where I parked it, and it's invisible, so I'm fucked.
By that point, it's probably already totaled because someone tried to take that parking spot and just drove into it at full speed. Yep, it's a shitty idea if you're not a fucking super spy.
It was even actually a pretty shitty idea if you are a super spy.
Yeah, I guess, but it's still hilarious and it looks cool on screen.
And they totally stole it.
There you go.
They totally stole that idea.
Oh yeah,
didn't they?
Yep.
For the helicarriers.
Yeah, they did.
But actually,
which makes even less sense because imagine a fucking plane. Just fucking flying into the fucking helicarrier because it doesn't see it. It's like, okay, secrecy is nice, guys, but I hope you're telling all the pilots in the area that there's some obstruction here in one way or another, because otherwise we're gonna have a lot of dead people on our hands here.
But actually, they genuinely they made the Die Another Day car for real. Like, seriously, you can actually go online and check it out. Like, they made basically a car that it's only one-sided though, because obviously for safety reasons they can't do 360 for safety reasons. But they had like one side, basically they had cameras along one side of the car and displayed the images on the other side of the car. So it just looked like nothing was traveling by when you were viewing it from the right angle. So they tried that.
There was the same technique. Yeah,
they
used that's cool. I didn't know that actually worked.
yeah, it does. It literally works. So that's actually, you should check that out online. Like, yeah, it's actually pretty cool. They were driving it through New York and it's pretty interesting. So I'm going to go, unlike Brack's answer, which was actually moderately interesting, I'm going to go for a completely fucking bland answer, because I'm going to give you my genuine answer, which is if I was in the Fast and the Furious, I would be along the lines of like Paul Walker's character. So like, in the movie, Paul Walker's character really loves like Japanese imports and stuff, and Vin Diesel loves American muscle. Or like,
does he now? Oh my!
So subtle.
Yeah. You always did love American muscle. So stupid. But like, I would be with Paul Walker's character, like on that side of the fence, because I love Japanese cars. Like, seriously, like I think my car love is for Nissan. So like the GTR or the fucking the Z series. So there you go, Gran Turismo fans. That's what the Choo-Choo would drive. The Fair Lady Z, not expensive, or the Nissan GTR, which is expensive. But actually, I prefer the Fair Lady Z actually, because they just look cool. Like no other aspect other than that. They just look blaze. They look awesome.
Kind of leads us into the third movie, I guess.
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah. So Tokyo Drift. Yeah. What do you guys think about Tokyo Drift? So how
I haven't seen it.
You want to kick off with Tokyo Drift?
Yeah, sure. I think some people say that this is one of the worst, but actually I kind of like it. I know I'm pretty alone on that one. But I kind of like the new setting. I think Lucas Black is horrible, though. He's not a good actor, and his accent is just the worst. Just annoying throughout the entire movie. But the new character, Han, which appears in later movies, he's really good. This is the first movie where he appears in. And I think there's a reason that they retconned the franchise to keep him in it, because he was that good, actually. And I like the new setting, like I said before. And I think Justin Lin, who is the director for this one, and actually also for 4, 5, and 6, he brings a lot to the table. I think the car scenes are pretty well done, well filmed, and the drifting looks like really cool on screens. So yeah, that's what I think about it. It's definitely not one of the better in the franchise, but it's still an entertaining movie.
I have mixed feelings. Like the thing is, I live in Japan, and the way they portray Japan like really sets my teeth on edge. Like sometimes, like it really fucking annoys me because it's just so fucking stereotypical, like hardcore stereotypical. I mean, it's kind of funny in that way, I guess, as well. So but you can't take it serious.
Wait, do you expect a little bit more subtlety from the Fast and Furious franchise?
No,
that's what you're trying to say.
Probably not. Also, like you, Brack, like that the main character, I just want to punch his fucking face. Like his southern drawl, like I'm gonna go and have sex with my pigs in the yard. Like it's like terrible. It's it's awful.
It's so bad.
It's so awful. Like it's like he escaped directly off the set of Deliverance onto the set of the Fast and the Furious. And also, dude, we 22 Jump Street or 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, great movies, but they're always cracking jokes about people, looking too old to be in high school or looking too old to be in college. And that motherfucker's the prime offender in the first one.
The dude in the movie already has a receding hairline. It's like that. Yeah. He's already getting bald. He's in high school.
He's like, yeah, I'm like 18 years old or something. It's like, dude, you are not a day over like 35.
He's not even 18. He's like 17 in the movie, which is no fucking way.
Like no fucking way. Fucking hell. Oh, it's retarded. And the way that there are so many gaijin. Like so many foreigners in the school in Tokyo where everybody speaks like perfect English. It just drives me. Like it drives me fucking crazy.
His best friend is Bow Wow. He's like, it's kind of offensive. He's like the only black character in the show, in the movie, and he's like, he's a thief and he sells like stolen American like phones and watches and stuff to his classmates. I'm like, oh my god, that's pretty fucking offensive. But it's still funny. And in the end of the movie, it's like the cameo by Vin Diesel, right? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Like one scene. You know what Vin Diesel got for that one scene?
No.
The rights for Riddick.
Wow, amazing.
So just that one scene, he got the rights for Riddick. He only wanted to do that scene if they gave him the rights to that movie and to that character, and they gave it to him.
That's definitely good stuff on his part for doing that.
Yes.
But like the Fast and the Furious 2, I actually like despite the fact that it sometimes sets my teeth on edge, just because it just misrepresents Japan so much, and like Japan is a thing I love deeply. But again, you have to set that aside. When you actually step back and was like, why do I give a fuck how they represent Japan in this? Like, why does it bother me so much? Like, it's actually completely fine. And I think, as a simple piece of cheesy entertainment, yeah, it's fine. And like has a really fucking stupid stunt at the end of the film, if I remember, where he has to go down a hill quickly. Like that's just the most stupid thing ever. And you're just like, come on. It's so fucking stupid. But yeah, I kinda like it. Yeah, it's fun. Like it's just a cheesy slice of like over the top fun. Is Lucas Black? I heard like Lucas Black was in the 7th one. Does he actually make an appearance in it?
Yeah, for like one scene.
Someone kill him. Oh man, I really hope Jason Statham just comes out of nowhere and snaps his neck. That would be amazing. No spoilers. Hey, Dom, I think there's a pig back there. I think we should go. I've got you fucking scum. Nice one, Statham. So I guess that's the cue to move on to the 4th film. Yeah, so Human Metal, you've been quiet for a while, not having seen the 2nd and 3rd part. So why don't you tell us? Didn't they change the title of the 4th one? Like I don't know.
It's Fast and Furious now.
Yeah, exactly. It's again Fast and Furious. It's not Fast and Furious 4 or 4 Fast, 4 Furious.
They forgot how to count. How do numbers work again?
It was during that weird period where suddenly sequels had to be kind of rebooted. And
sequels couldn't have like a number anymore.
Exactly. It was after Final Destination 3, it was like the Final Destination for the 4th one, and the same happened to Fast and Furious. So
here's where the titles get funny in Japan. This one's called I think Wild Speed Max.
Okay.
Like that will make sense a little bit later, but yeah, Wild Speed Max. So why don't you tell us about the Fast and Furious?
Well, it's basically getting the crew back together because it's like the original cast. Again, it's I think that's what was the slogan for the advertisement? Same motor in a different same parts, different. I don't know, something like that.
Something stupid.
Something stupid. Yes, definitely.
Stupid. That should be the tagline for every Fast and Furious movie. Something stupid. Yeah. You thought it couldn't get more stupid. You were wrong.
So they're getting Vin Diesel back again, and you know.
No, I googled it, by the way. New model, original parts. That's the tagline.
That was it. Yeah, dumb as fuck.
Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, so it was kind of, I guess it was supposed to be after the third one, going back to the roots, kind of a semi-reboot, but you know, going back to the original characters.
After the second one. It's plays after the second one. The third one actually, like they have like a complicated, like the third one is like after 6.
Oh, okay. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Quickly? Oh, okay.
Yes. Which
character from the third one is appearing in the fifth one, isn't he?
Yeah. The characters from the third one are appearing in the fourth one.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, because one character died in the third one, but they liked him so much that they wanted to keep him in, so he appears in the fourth one as well.
Ah, okay.
They just kind of retconned it seems, but then they just like made that one like everything else after like a prequel. So
okay,
which makes no sense if you see the movies, because like in Fast and Furious like 6 they have like super modern cars, but in Tokyo Drift they have pretty fucking old cars. So it makes no sense that it's after it. But it's Fast and Furious, who cares, right?
Yeah,
they're Japanese like their vintage stuff. So
maybe.
Great.
I think one day I'm going to have to go back and actually watch them like in story sequence and watch the third one between the 6th and the 7th. That might be fun. But anyway, yeah, go back to 4.
Yeah. Anyway, funnily enough, of the ones I watched, this is my my least favorite movie.
Makes sense, actually.
I think it was pretty forgettable up to the final race, final battle, so to speak, which was pretty cool in that tunnel. And it was pretty nice.
That's actually the thing I dislike the most, because the tunnel, it was completely CGI.
Yeah.
Like, there was no tunnel there.
And
that was just completely CGI. Like, even the cars in CGI.
So I guess for me, up to this point, not enough was just happening in this movie. It's like, it felt like a rehash, and I was like, okay, and maybe it was not shot that good, but at least something was happening in the final minutes of that movie. It's just like, okay, we're getting somewhere now, but the rest, the beginning of the movie or the rest of the movie, I was just not feeling it. I was like, okay, that was not the best point to get back into the series, I guess. But on the other hand, it didn't, scare me away from Fast 5, which was a good thing. But we'll get to that. But what did you guys think about the fourth one in general?
I go next on this, so because I kind of really quite agree with what Brack was saying, and actually I was saying like Fast and Furious 2 was the weakest for me in the franchise, but in some, I don't know, overall, like it's hard to rank them, but I think 4...
I also think that this might be better than Fast and Furious 2. I think Fast and Furious 2 is probably more entertaining.
Yeah.
This is more bland.
Well, the thing is, like, it has dual aspects to it. That like, I personally love the character stuff in 4. Like, it's really great the way that Vin Diesel and Paul Walker come back together. From pursuing the different aspects of the same case. Like, I love that stuff. Like, and it's really, really fun, for example, the moment where they meet in the apartment, and Vin Diesel's hanging someone out the window and then Paul Walker, like, just randomly walks in. Like, those moments are really, really great. So, and I enjoy the moments where they're stuck together, like, like racing for that kingpin or whatever, or like, I love those, and competing with each other. I think that stuff's all great. Like, I think actually that's some of the best character stuff within the Fast and the Furious franchise in 4. However, as Brack was saying, I hate the fucking action sequences because they're all CG'd up the ass. Like, I remember...
I'm not sure like if all of them are, but I know that like that last one is super CGI.
Yeah, it looks
and it really annoyed me.
And
It looked like a video game, yeah.
Exactly, it looked like a PlayStation 2 game, like a cutscene from a PlayStation 2 game. Like also the scene at the beginning where that tanker is rolling down the hill with all that fire coming out of it. That is like the worst fucking fire particle effects. Like you see better fire effects in a PlayStation 3 game. Like it's awful, and it's just for me that totally ruins what that series was about in a way, because it's all about like crazy stunts that you can appreciate, like a stunt crew putting in the time and effort to do that, or at least these days a stunt crew doing it, or at least fucking high-end CG, not CG where they literally had
I think they got
pounds.
back to that after 4, like the CGI, that they have way less CGI in like the sequels in like 5 and 6, but in 4, and I think it seemed like they didn't have the budget to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So I think, like, character-wise, I think 4 was great, but just the effects-wise, it just totally ruined a lot of that movie for me. So what do you think about it, Breck?
I think I already said, like, a lot about it. But, like, I think it was still, like, entertaining. It was fun to see, like, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel interact again. And that was a lot of fun. And I think I like it more because of the things it set up for the sequels than I liked it before for the movie itself.
Although the way they retconned Letty's death was just so stupid and hilarious. It's like
they do it later on. I probably forgot about this scene in Fast and Furious 4 where Vin Diesel is playing like Sherlock Holmes, where he's like trying to find out how Letty died. Remember that scene? And he's just walking there and he sees like the tire tracks and he puts like his hand down and he sees what happens. Like he's like some superpower and he can see.
He's Daredevil.
It's amazing. Like
he is like, Daredevil. He has heightened senses.
He puts his hand on the ground and he smells the ground a little bit, and all of a sudden he sees in a flashback what happened to how Lenny died. It's like,
He's so stupid.
You don't get it. He's half a car. There's fuel running through his veins. He just has to touch anything that has been left by a car, and he knows what happens.
That scene is so hilarious.
The thing is, like, there's no possible way, like, okay, maybe he could tell how the car skidded and something, but he couldn't possibly, like, imagine a guy getting out of the car and shooting someone. Like, how the fuck? Oh, that's so stupid. So I guess we're going to come on to the next Radiophonic Sea Creatures question. So basically, the Fast and the Furious franchise is known for having these crazy fucking stunts, like that beggar belief, especially in the later films. So what is there left to do? Yeah, going forward in the next Fast and the Furious films, like what stunt would you guys have, like, in the film? Like, if you were directing it, what stunt would you put in? So how about you, Human Metal?
So since they have already built kind of an Avengers-esque universe now, I'm thinking crossover with other franchises. We already had the jump out of the plane, I think, with the parachutes for one of the movies. So now, I guess we could do out of a space shuttle. And I'm thinking crossover with Iron Sky, Nazis on the moon, stunt jump out of the space shuttle right into Cyborg Hitler's face. Or crossover with the next Jurassic Park movie and have them jump over dinosaurs. Or, The Rock delivering a people's elbow on a T-Rex. Man, that would be fucking glorious.
Yeah,
I would like to see
crossover with Back to the Future, and they actually all travel back in time.
Yeah!
They're stuck in, like, Jurassic Age, and they have, like, the battle T-Rexes with, like,
I'll get a flux capacitor, yeah, and all of them drift back because they have to change the future because in the future some shitty company starts making shitty cars and they have to stop it from happening, shit like that. And then that would be great. I would love to see that. Do it.
I also for the crossover actually because I just wanted after like Furious 7 you have the after credit sequence. And like all of a sudden you see like a new car coming up. It's like a really shiny kind of modern car. The room is the windows going down, and behind the wheel is Thanos from
And he's still fucking sitting.
Yeah, he can only sit, he cannot.
That guy can stand up, he's just always sitting. I think, like, he's actually in the same chair, and the car is, like, built around this chair. But yeah, what happens is that, like, one of, like, the Infinity Gauntlets,
Gems.
Infinity Gems, yeah, is, like, Vin Diesel's car. So they have to, like, race for it, but they have to, like, race for it in, like, in space, of course, in, like, the one of the planets from Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. And they have to have, like, a race there, and then at the end, like, he has Vin Diesel and The Rock, they have to team up and beat Thanos, like, in a fist fight or something like that. You know?
Oh, they should. When you're talking about space and racetracks like that, cross it over with F-Zero and put Fast and Furious cars and characters into the next F-Zero game. I know there will be a next F-Zero game, but there will be a reason to make one. Come on, guys!
Aliens come down and like zap up the greatest drivers on Earth. It's like Predators but with race cars.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's something like that could work as well.
Yeah. The possibilities are endless, is what we're saying. Just, you can't even argue, man, that would be too ridiculous, because we're over that point. Like, we've passed that like a few movies ago.
Yeah.
It's like you can go anywhere you want. Everybody will go and see it, and we'll be like, that makes total sense in that universe.
Space Furious. I think that makes total sense.
Yeah, sure. I think no problem. Like, just go wild.
I watched Wild Speed. I watched I watched 22 Jump Street recently, and there's a hilarious part at the end of 22 Jump Street where they're basically showing you the sequels to 22 Jump Street. And it's like 28 Jump Street, Magic School or whatever, 29 Jump Street, Ballet School. And like one of them is like 21 Jump Street, and they're in space. Like so, it kind of really reminds me of the Fast and Furious.
Yes.
It's amazing. But I guess, Bragg, do you have a specific stunt?
You know what? They're driving on the planet from Interstellar with like the huge waves. You remember that? And they have to drive out of the waves and like get out close enough to the black hole so they can drive around the black hole in like use the force of the black hole to like get jump start to get like to the other planet or something like that. Like something really ridiculous and stupid.
Oh, that'd be amazing. The thing is, like, we're saying all this stuff, I would totally watch every single one of these films.
Yes!
Yeah, me too. Me too. No discussion.
For me, I guess, what is the Fast and the Furious about, when you really boil it down, it's about like, hot women and motors. So, I'm going to put those two together. So we have like, I don't know, somehow Letty and Dom like jump out of an airplane or whatever, and they land in the Pacific Ocean, and they're like, what are we going to do? We're in the middle of the ocean. And she's like, oh, we're going to die. We're going to drown right now. Dom would be saying. And Letty was like, there's something I want you to do before we drown, Dom. Please motorboat me like one last time. So basically that's exactly it. He would basically like flip Letty over in the ocean and like start motorboating her titties. And he so hard they'd actually go like a speedboat, like a human speedboat they'd make. Like just would like go all the way back to shore by motorboating her boobs.
Wow.
That's where it's going, people.
I didn't know what I expected, but I guess I got it.
Yes.
And even that,
they would think like
people would not be surprised about.
No.
Basically, you got to admire the Fast and the Furious franchise, like, for pretty much, like, for just literally laying it on the table and was just like, right, actually, we don't give a fuck. Let's just make this the most fucking ridiculous, stupid thing ever. Like, just go full bear on it. So, I really love that aspect. And talking about that, we're coming on to the first, I think, Fast and the Furious movie to actually do that, to just say, right, fuck realism. Let's just go fucking nuts. And
that's my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, my favorite too.
Yes, it's my favorite. It's amazing.
Not
like
favorite.
Fast 5.
Because it's like a heist movie with cars. It's amazing. It's like Ocean's 11, only with sports cars. And of course it has The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it, which I think is the best addition to like the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, he is just so great at it, at the movie, and like there's the amazing fight scene, of course, between Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel, and
yeah. And the most funny thing about that scene, of course, is where they have the stare off in the beginning, and they have, you would think the way he's framed in the previous movie that Vin Diesel is a big guy, but he actually isn't. He is kind of small, maybe not compared to other guys, but compared to The Rock, definitely. So when they have their big stare off, you don't see that, of course, but they had to put Vin Diesel on a crate so that he could look The Rock in the eye.
But you can notice during the fight scene that he's a lot smaller. So
yeah, but there's the action and the camera movement, so you might not notice if you don't pay close attention. But in that scene, you would have noticed that they had to put him on a wooden crate so that he can, and that always cracks me up. It's like imagining him getting up on that crate, and I'm like, well, wait a second.
Looked up.
Yeah, but other than that, oh man, everything action-wise in that movie is so fucking fantastic. The actual fights, the brawls are great. The heist over the rooftop is great, and Rock has like these really cool physical action battle scenes, and
he's always sweating, by the way, which is always for some reason that's became a running joke throughout the franchise. That The Rock is like super sweaty.
Did I smell baby oil?
Yeah. Like it's so hilarious, like, and especially it started in 5 because like every time you see him, like his sweat coming off his forehead, there's like sweat dripping out of his beard, like all the time during the entire movie, and like when you notice it, it's just so funny.
if you think of this of Fast and Furious as a superhero movie franchise and Rock of one of the heroes, you could make that his weakness. Like he's so sweaty, he can like pull up people who are like dangling over a cliff. Because they would slip off his hand and they would fall to their death. It's like, grab his hand! I can't! I'm too sweaty!
No, or like, like Iron Man's got to be careful of his power gauge or whatever. Like The Rock's got to be careful about getting dehydrated.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody? I need water. He needs water. I need water.
Water. He's like super weak. Yeah, but aside from that, the car stunts, the final chase scene in that movie is one of the best filmed, I wouldn't say choreographed. How would you?
It's just, and that's what I really like, because that insane stuff with the fault, they actually put like a fault behind 2 cars.
Yeah, exactly.
They put
it's
the fault
real.
on wheels and everything, but still, that actually happened.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's amazing. It's great stuff, and it just feels so, I don't know, so powerful, and like, oh yeah, that shit is going down, and it feels real, and yeah, it's amazing stuff. It's like when I got to that, I said, holy shit, what did they do? It's fucking amazing. Yeah, I did not expect this.
And you're laughing at the same time, because how ridiculous it is, but it's still like, oh, this is so amazing to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the fact that in the 5th one they have that whole thing where they're trying to like get their drifting down to absolute perfect, and they spend ages like drifting around that course so they can beat the cameras, and none of them can do it. And I love how that's completely fucking meaningless in the end of the plot.
Yes,
it doesn't mean shit. Just wasting time.
That's like, showing off.
And also, this is like the movie where like family really like that happens so much. Like Vin Diesel has like at least a couple speeches about family sticks together, and family like you don't give up on family, like stuff like that all the time. And it kind of so cheesy, but it kind of works. And they bring like every single character back, like except for Tokyo Drift. Like they didn't bring those 2 because they're not there yet, but like every other character, they bring those back. And they actually gave every single, it's like a superhero, like Avengers type movie, because they gave every character like his moment to shine, and like some funny moments, and like all the characters work all of a sudden. That all fits together, which is like so weird, because it feels like such an accident that it actually works, but it works, so it's amazing.
That's the thing. Like, I think like nobody really expected that movie to work so well, but it does. It works excellently. It's just a really like a whole shit ton of fun, and totally set up the franchise.
and you have like a bunch of actors, when they star in their own movie, I don't really give a crap, like in general, with all those actors. But together, it works so well.
It's really well done. But we were talking about the title, something quite amusing. The previous Fast and Furious 4 in Japan was called Wild Speed Max. So where do you go from that? Obviously, they've already used Max, so where the fuck do you go?
Over Max.
Oh, almost. Wild Speed Mega Max. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's like, oh shit, we've done fucked up with using Max.
So what's the sixth one? Oh, right. Sky Mission. No, wait.
The sixth one.
Euromission,
because it takes place in Europe, I guess.
And Which sounds like a weird porn title.
And then where to go?
It sounds like the sequel to Eurotrip.
Yeah. Where to go from Euromission though? Sky Mission. So
next one is
Space Mission.
Mission Impossible or something.
It's going to be like Sky Mission Max. Next one's going to be like Sky Space Mission Mega Max. So talking about like my personal favorite movie, like coming on to the last Fast and Furious movie we're going to talk about, which is Fast and Furious 6 or Euromission, as I like to call it. So that's my personal favorite movie. But yeah, I'll hand it over. So, Human Metal, do you want to take it? Do you want to take it away and tell us what you thought about number 6?
Oh well, if it's your favorite, I would have let you go first, actually. But and add a few things to there, maybe.
Okay.
But you're drinking, so sorry.
Okay, I'll go. Shit, we'll flip stuff on its head, and I'll go first this time because it is my favorite in the franchise. I think before 6, I enjoyed 5 quite a lot. I thought it was fun, and I really appreciate The Rock's kind of like inclusion. And yeah, that movie was a lot of fun. I think I liked the first one more than the 5th one. But however, the 6th one caught me totally by surprise, like because I hadn't quite cottoned on to what the Fast and the Furious franchise was doing at that point. Like, I hadn't quite clicked in my brain. And then you watch the 6th one, and it's just like, ding! Okay, I see. I go, okay, I see what they're doing here, and I quite like it. So the 6th one was just balls out insane, like from the get-go, straight from the off. It was fucking crazy. There were so many wonderful moments in the 6th one, and it totally, for me, like the way that many people feel about the 5th film, which totally revitalized the franchise, like I feel about the 6th one. Like that was something special to me. Like that was so fucking crazy and over the top that you couldn't help but just crack a smile and enjoy the shit out of it. It was fucking nuts. Highlights of the movie include, the insane stunt that I think everybody remembers where fucking Vin Diesel hurls himself through the air to catch Letty. And ends up like crashing onto a speeding car. And it's just like, oh man, you're kidding me. Come on. It's just...
I laughed out so loud at that one.
But did he say something like that? Like, how did you know there was a car there? I did it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like,
I don't have time to bleed.
Okay.
But he doesn't even have a single... He has like one small scratch and that's it.
Oh man.
He just destroyed the car with his back and he doesn't even have a scratch on it.
It's just that's the moment where you just like, oh my god, that was so stupid and yet somehow so fucking cool at the same time. It's like retardedly stupid.
Earlier on, isn't there like the scene where Dwayne Johnson just jumps from one car to like a car way lower? Like,
he literally flies like Superman.
He's The Rock. He can do it. He can pull it off.
I remember he rolls off the car at one point, and then just takes a whole bunch of shots at it as it's escaping, and then like spits out his gum or something. Like it's amazing.
And this is also like they also started to hire in this one like a lot of like MMA fighters and like kung fu guys from like the Raid. Actually, one of the guys from the Raid is in there, and the fight scenes in this movie in Fast 6 are really good as well. Just the hand-to-hand fight scenes are really impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, there's that infamous final scene where they are on this fucking 100 miles long,
longest runway ever in the world.
Longest runway ever. We're like, okay, how long until this fucking plane takes off? Yeah. Well, it's gonna be 10 or 15 minutes, I guess.
I just love that. Like, I remember seeing like the trailer in the movie theater, and I just went crazy because like first there's the tank. There's the trailer. You see like the plane, and they take the plane down. And like, oh my god, this is amazing! And then close up of Vin Diesel doing like the edge, like what's going on? And like he drives through the plane out of the front of the plane in his muscle car, like the exploding plane comes. It's like exploding plane. It's like this exploding plane comes like Vin Diesel's car out of the. It's amazing.
There are so many great things about the sixth one. I love the fact that in the tank scene, it's a minor thing, but nobody says anything about it. But that tank kills like 100 people on the fucking motor.
Obviously.
The tank is driving over random cars.
Totally squashed the occupants. And like nobody's saying like, oh my god, maybe we should stop this chase. Like 100 people have just died.
That's amazing. No fucks were given, not a single one.
They're making jokes the entire time. It's amazing.
For me, the entirety of the entire franchise is summed up in like the funniest, I think, personally speaking, the funniest scene ever in the Fast and the Furious franchise, which is where The Rock and Vin Diesel are standing shoulder to shoulder, right? And they're speaking to each other. And I think the conversation runs along something along the lines of, The Rock says to him, I never thought I'd trust a criminal. And Vin Diesel says to him, I never thought I'd trust a cop. But actually, they're standing shoulder to shoulder, staring off into space. They're not looking at each other, just staring at nothing. The Rock's literally staring into a barn. It's just the stupidest thing ever.
Emotions.
And they're not blinking either. They just have like these wide open eyes without blinking.
Like, this is really what I'm talking about. Like when I say they're talking about their feelings while trying to look super tough, and like that's impressive. That one scene, it just works so well. Like they're just like shoulder to shoulder, like it's looking super tough, just staring into the background, and it's for some reason it's still a stare off, but they're not even looking at each other.
It's like when you think about it, it's really bizarre. It's really bizarre. They're standing shoulder to shoulder, just staring at nothing. It's just fucking stupid. Oh my god. But hey, that's our opinion on the Fast and the Furious. But what's your opinion, oh valued listener? Sign off in the comment section like The Rock signs off a fight with the people's elbow. And now to Human Metal for some shilling.
Send questions or comments about the episode to creaturepodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter and YouTube. We'd like to hear your opinion on the show.
Yes, thank you for speaking to us like we're all twats, Human Metal. I appreciate that.
Hey, I have to mix it up once in a while.
And with that, we've come to the...
In your case, he's not wrong. Let's be honest.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, hang on. I'm not a twat, but I do love twats. Like, I'm always inside twats. Like, I'm doing my business with twats. I'm just not a twat myself. And with that, we've come to the end of this week's Visit to the Ocean Floor. So please join us next time you mistake your dick for a sea snake and lop that fucker off. Until then, this is the Radiophonic Sea Creatures.